Yeah. Okay, we have just got to the end of the second day of questioning of Peter Francis, the undercover police officer HN43, who was deployed into anti-racist and family justice groups from 1993 until 1997. He went whistleblower in 2010, which has led to his sort of fairly unique position, really, at the inquiry. I'm joined by James Simpson of Bristol Counterfire. What have you made of what Peter Francis was telling us this afternoon?
Well, I mean, there hasn't. I think they've just read out behind us that we're under a restriction order since 4:28.
Yes, so
It's now 5:20.
Yes, we can't say about anything about that
It
previous
might be
section.
more a general assessment of the day rather
sure.
than anything. But he's clearly a very conflicted individual, despite the role he's played in getting the inquiry this far, and the importance of him. He clearly did spend 20 years in the Metropolitan Police Force, and is still very much steeped in some of the lesser qualities of 80s and 90s policing.
You very much.
There's been some moments, the way he describes Alex Holloway, for example, as a feminine thing, and there's very uncomfortable moments where I don't think he's recanting on any of those descriptors, and
I mean, it was quite interesting actually on that. He kind of talked about how he respected Alex Holloway. He was a genuine person, but
then after him being a bouncer, or the thought of him being a bouncer.
That was Lewis. Yeah, the thought of Lewis being a bouncer.
Sorry,
yeah. But I mean, like a lot of these, he said he really liked Lewis, and he was like, obviously Lewis doesn't like me, and he's obviously bothered by that quite a lot. Referring to the evidence given by Lewis when he appeared at the inquiry 2 weeks ago now.
He seems very hyper aware of who and doesn't like him. That's a contingent thing. Yet yesterday or this morning, in his evidence, he was talking about that he doesn't have any empathy left because of the trauma disorder he's been left from his time in the Metropolitan Police and undercover. It's an unusual position.
That really called to mind like Prince Andrew not being able to sweat. I mean, it's just I
wrote that on my notebook. Just like, is this a thing?
I really don't know, and I don't want to belittle anybody's mental health situation in any way. I'm sure. I mean, Peter Francis is clearly not well, and
he's definitely a fragile person. Definitely, yeah.
But I mean, certainly in his reports, I mean, he does say some fairly insulting things about Lewis, about Alex Holloway. He stands by all of them, but he tries to explain them away. Or wasn't meant to be. I wouldn't have worded it quite like that. This is how John Webb has rewritten it. But he stands by the substance of it. I mean, on the effeminate thing, he goes like, well. He was encouraged to report things of that nature. That was part of his job.
And I think he was using the sort of rationale that if Alex Holloway had not come out as gay, then it could be used. But then Barr's pointing out the fact that everyone knew that Alex Holloway was gay, and then what is the intelligence value of that? And
it's negative, apparently. Yeah. It's negative. So a future SDS officer wouldn't think, oh, maybe we can turn him because he's secretly gay. It would be there in the file that he's actually publicly gay.
It becomes reams within reams of this circular thinking. It's very difficult. But yeah, he is an interesting character compared to, this time last year we sat watching a week of Lambert and Andy Coles and things. And it is interesting watching him actually try and answer questions. Even though some of it might not be the answers that we'd hope for, and he's still trying to give a rationale that the Revolutionary Internationalist League, RIL.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. He said it took him 3 months to ascertain that the Revolutionary Interventionist League was not capable of mounting a revolution. I mean, I'm sorry, but come on, there was 10 of them.
Yeah.
That should tell you everything you need to know in the first place.
And that's under the definition of subversion, isn't it? Things that whether they're capable of doing it.
I mean, he did say quite hilariously that when he joined Special Branch, he had no idea what subversion was. When he was deployed, he just trusted that Special Branch had an idea, which, they didn't.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Peter, they didn't have a fucking clue, blatantly,
But maybe that gives an insight as to how they managed to get these people started on this road. They have a certain amount of ignorance. They go into this special unit. Their feathers have plucked up. They see some reports in the back office. And then by the time they're out there, they're on the road and gone past a certain point that not many of them seem to be able to get away from it anymore.
No, yeah, I mean, it seems like there is an element. I mean, even with Peter Francis, who's obviously got a lot of problems with the Met Police, huge problems with them, in fact, he's still got a certain loyalty to the job, more so than the organization, the job, the sort of the role that,
I guess that's also as well, if you've done that for 20 years of your life, you're still trying to explain some of those moments away. They brought up this afternoon before I went off as well, the Blood and Honor gig as well, which I haven't been on your thing to talk about.
Yes,
but that seems an absolute insane.
Yeah, I mean, this is the event at Beacon Tree where there was a Blood and Honor gig it's a memorial event for Ian Stewart Donaldson, who had a timely death, shall we say, and then the resulting kidnapping or unofficial kidnapping of the majority of the protesters. Though I actually met someone today who was there, who wasn't forced onto the tube train. We were taken to Earls Court Station and then just summarily beaten up. Including Peter Francis. He got a black eye for his troubles.
That's interesting. Yeah. What did the person say? How they didn't get castled into that thing? Is that just luck?
Just pure luck.
Yeah.
What they said. Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. I was trying to picture Beacon. I know that part of London a little bit. I was trying to picture Beacon Tree Station, but it's a little bit too far out. I think we've gone past Dagenham, I think. But that's a heck of a thing, and that's Beacon Tree to Earls Court. That's a heck of a long train journey as well. And then, take them out and beat the crap out of them. And
it was interesting. It was put to him that he didn't mention we were shown his report of after that event, and it was said, "Oh, you didn't." There's no mention of the police violence in there. And there never would be. There never would be.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
Was the picture that he was mentioning in the thing? Is it the same picture that got shown the other day when there was like a really black? It was just a black picture with a couple of white dots on it. There might be someone's head.
Right. Yeah. We weren't shown that again today, but we did see
the picture that you was discussing today. Do you reckon?
Yes. Yeah. I would imagine so. I'd yet forgotten about that picture actually, but this idea that he was congratulated for surviving. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you've got a date from, sir. Someone's asking you over there.
Oh, right. I'm hearing my name being said. And this is purely around this thing about any reporting I may have done during the last section where the inquiry suspended the broadcast. I didn't do any reporting from it. I said, I said some things, but nothing about the actual what was being said in the room. So I think I should be fine. In the past, I thought I'd been fine, and it's turned out I breached the written restriction order and I've had to delete a load of tweets. Hopefully that won't be the case this time.
But it definitely helps the public inquiry maintain its publicity.
Yeah, certainly. So, a lot, as well as this large section at the end of the day where everything was suspended, we have had quite a few breaches today.
At least 3, I think.
Yeah, we can't talk about anything about the substance of why those breaches happened, but it is very telling that Peter Francis, who has waited a long time to give this evidence, who has said that he won't be able to tell the full story until he is at the public inquiry, genuinely seems to be pained about the fact that he's not able to talk about what is clearly a very big part of what the SDS were doing at that particular time period.
There does seem, especially around Stephen Lawrence and Welling, there does seem to be areas that he's not allowed to speak about that he really would prefer to speak about, which I guess is the way this public inquiry has been set up. And I guess we see what comes out when Meeting writes his report next year, the year after for this stage, and then what that leads to after that.
Once again, the report that Meeting publishes will only be one of the reports. There'll be 2 reports. The other one will be restricted. We won't get to see it, and it will refer to the entirety of the inquiry. We don't know how much of the inquiry takes place in secret, just by the nature of the secrecy of it. We know how much happens in closed, but we don't know how much happens in secret. So, it may be that all these issues.
It does seem the longer this process goes on, the more it seems that some things are happening in secret, and you're starting to become. I'm obviously not here as much as you, but it does feel like you're just becoming more aware that things are happening.
Yes,
you're not
very much.
You're not there and not paying attention,
and there are little pointed things that Barr says, which are on the record, saying that we won't be able to deal with that in open, or we'll deal with that in closed. Just referring to the fact that there is a big part of this process that we're not party to. Generally though, Peter Francis as a witness, I think
compared to SDS officers, amazing.
Yeah, that might be quite a low bar.
Officers,
very much. Definitely the best of the SDS officers we've had giving evidence. I would say that's top of all the police, in fact, because we've had some non-SDS officers as well. But I mean, I think he's largely credible. There are occasions where he just comes out with things, and you're like, "What are you on about?" I mean, particularly the stuff about violence and his characterization of people as being violent, based on just things that are not very credible, really. I don't think.
And I was talking his analogy of the away team stuff. I just find it so remarkable watching Trevor Morris last year and his discussions with the ANL and their hit squads that Chris Bambury was trying to make, and how similar those two sort of narratives are in different similar organizations, but different people, almost similar people that they're talking about, really, that are hugely unlikely. So, in my opinion, having met both of the people that they're talking about, that are going to be the type of person that's going to be leading hit squads around South London to try and find fascists like that, would definitely be both mobilized and defending areas and anti-fascist, but to start generals in an army that's attacking, I fear not so much. And,
I mean,
it's very interesting and the way he says Trevor sometimes.
Yeah.
You can tell he was friends, and
he's bothered about the end of that relationship, that friendship. Clearly, I mean, there is something about the conference references to like medieval style battle or like kind of armies and things. I mean, it does sound a lot more like public schoolboy ways of talking about like the way
courageous in battle.
Yeah.
Stuff, so
I mean, it's like it's the way that posh people talk about sport sometimes. That there's kind of like this analogy for warfare around sport. You're kind of getting that like kind of thing kind of put into it, and it doesn't bear much relation with reality. I mean, I've witnessed some supposedly, like shocking political violence at large protests and demonstrations over the years. And it's just not that serious. I mean, like, that's not me being like trying to play things down. It's just the reality of it. It's not. I mean, like, that's not to say that the serious violence hasn't happened. I mean, it has. The police have killed people on protests. But in terms of like what protesters do or what anti-fascists have done to fascists, I mean, it's just, the evidence isn't there. This isn't just what I'm saying, kind of, look at it, you know what I mean?
It tends to be, a bit violent for a very quick amount of time, and then a lot of standoffish for a long period of time.
Yeah, and the quick violence tends to be things being thrown or pushing and shoving. I mean, this isn't GBH or anything we're talking about. But yeah, any other thoughts about what we've heard?
No, I'm back with you guys tomorrow. So,
right on. Yeah, there's another 2 days of evidence. There might be 3. There's a rumor that we might be here on Friday. I think partially because the breaches have just slowed everything down so much.
I think Sir, is it Sir or Lord Meeting?
Sir, just a Sir.
Reaction to the transcription.
Oh my God.
Malfunction.
Oh my God. That is
going to be trying to finish on Thursday night.
That was the most livid I have ever seen John Mitting. He was absolutely.
That was during
it was during restriction time, but I mean, just to say there was a technical problem. There's a lot of people running around trying to sort it out. He was not impressed. I wish that had been on the feed just for his face, really.
He was an extremely angry lord.
It was an extremely angry lord. Well, he's not a lord. He's just a Sir.
My apologies.
Lord Justice Pitchford, the original chair of the inquiry, was a lord. We got downgraded to a mere Sir.
You got one more to go. So.
yeah. Who knows? I mean,
you ever serving you a pint later?
Yeah. What was the level below? I mean, just some surf, I don't know. Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll be here back again tomorrow. I'll do a Twitter Spaces this evening, just recapping what we've heard throughout the day. Join me on that if you can. Thanks to everybody who's given me some support through Ko-fi. It makes all the difference. But yeah, see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.
All good.